Hey guys, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and we're here to do a book tag. So this is these are a few of my favorite things tag Bookish edition, and I was tagged to do this by Here There Be Stories. So there are 12 questions, and we're going to go through each one of these, and I'm sorry it's taken me a little bit of time to get this video filmed and uploaded. I've been like in and out of town and like crazy busy with stuff. So let's get into the questions. Question number 1 is, what music do you appreciate? Oh gosh, the answer to that is almost all music, I guess. I was raised on country music specifically, so that was all I listened to as a kid, and in my teen years. But then as I started to get older, I branched out, and I really love classic rock. I love musical soundtracks. I don't know, if I was in my car searching for a radio station, I'd probably land on a country station just because like that's my roots. But I like to listen to all different kinds of things, and my students often suggest different music to me, as well as like friends, coworkers, etc. There are some bands and artists that I learned about through other people, like The Used, the 1979, trying to think of what else. I don't know, my mind's blanking right now. I should have written down some notes or something, but and I like to suggest music too, and I play music in my classroom quite a bit. A lot of times it's instrumental stuff so that the kids don't get super distracted. It's just kind of like in the background. But once in a while, if we're having a day where we're like doing something very loose and creative, I'll turn on like pop music or country music, or depending on like what the kids request, we might have an 80s playlist that day, or a boy band playlist, or you know, all different kinds of things. So it's hard to pinpoint a specific type of music that I would have to choose if I had to choose like one type. Question 2 is a few favorite films. This is also a hard question for me to answer. Goonies is always going to be in the top of my list, and I have a friend who hasn't seen Goonies, and every time that I know that it's coming on TV, I'll message her and I'd be really obnoxious about it and be like, so Goonies is going to be playing on this channel at this time, just letting you know, or tell her like where she can stream it or that kind of thing. And she still hasn't watched it. I mean, she's a busy mom. But if you're unfamiliar, like my friend, Goonies is about a group of teenage kids. Some are more middle school age, I think. Anyway, oh, there's a fly in my room. Sorry, distraction. These kids are off on one last adventure before their neighborhood kind of gets taken over by these rich people. And they find this treasure map, and it's for the lost treasure of the pirate One-Eyed Willie, and they're gonna go see if they can find the treasure, and maybe that will allow them to save their neighborhood and give them, like I said, a last adventure as friends. Highly recommend that movie if you haven't seen it. Another great movie that I really love is The Count of Monte Cristo. It is like just a good story, and that I feel like the movie adaptation of the book was done well. Richard Harris plays the old man in the prison. I forget his name off the top of my head, but we have our main character Edmond Dantes, who's a young French soldier, and he is kind of set up by who he thought was his best friend to take the rap for something that really wasn't his fault, involving Napoleon. It was that time in history, and he ends up spending, I think, 14 years in prison, and he has a lot of anger, and he meets this man, priest, he calls him, in prison, and they discuss healing, and like they kind of talk through what happened to him, and he realizes that he was set up. It wasn't until he and Priest kind of talk through everything that they discover, oh yeah, I was set up, I was played by these people. And so he spends a lot of time plotting his revenge, and he is able to come into a treasure after he is not in prison anymore and poses as the Count of Monte Cristo in order to set up and take his revenge on these people. He finds out that his supposed best friend actually married the woman he was in love with before he was arrested. And, you know, there's a lot of betrayal that he has to get over and deal with. Anyway, it's a great movie. What else is, I mean, I love the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings movies. The Hobbit movies less than the Lord of the Rings just because they changed so much. Like, The Hobbit's a short book. It didn't need to be 3 movies, and they added stuff in that wasn't in the book in order to make it 3 movies so that they could, you know, make more money. But I do enjoy watching the movies. I especially love the second one with Smaug. I think he was created and played very well, and it was, yeah. The Breakfast Club, another 80s movie. I don't know. I don't think I really need to go into plot synopsis of all these other movies. Yeah, I'll throw in one more that's like an independent movie. It is called The Cokeville Miracle, and I will give you a little plot synopsis of this one. I think you can stream it on Tubi or something. Anyway, it is based on a true story that really happened. In this little town of Cokeville, Wyoming, there was this guy who was like crazy, and he thought he needed to start his own society and like start over the world. And he went into Cokeville Elementary School with his wife, and they had an explosive device, and they herded all the little children and the teachers and stuff into this one classroom. And they were like threatening to blow up the school and all this stuff if certain demands weren't met. And the daughter of the kind of crazy man, she actually like, she figured out what her dad was doing and she ran to tell. And so we had law enforcement trying to work from the outside and these adults and kids on the inside being held prisoner. And eventually the explosive device did go off. And by some miracle, the only people hurt were the crazy guy and his wife. They were killed. And the none of the children were killed. Some had injuries. Some of the teachers had injuries. And stuff, but everyone, all the victims were saved. And if you watch the movie, it does have a religious bent to it because kind of like the lead character is the sheriff or chief of police in Cokeville, I forget which. And it talks about his lack of faith in God and how like hearing the stories of what happened that day helped restore his faith. So just, if you're going to watch it, know that there is that religious lean to it. I can also tell you that one of my friends, I've actually taught some of her kids, was one of the children in that school. And I'm so grateful that she is okay. She has lasting effects from the smoke damage and like all that stuff, but she's fine and everyone's fine. And yeah, so there you go. Okay, that was a lot for one question. Number 3, hobbies and interests. Well, if you've been watching this channel, you know that I have dived deeply into the world of making junk journals. I love, love, love making them. We're getting ready for Junk Journal July soon, which is going to be hosted by Meg Journals. And yeah, I love doing that. Of course, I love reading. Whether that's physical books or audiobooks, I love the stories and also the escapism. You can learn things from fiction as well, and I love teaching kids books. Like when I taught reading, we read The Outsiders every year, and that was super valuable. Other hobbies and interests, photography. I am the official photographer for my high school football team, if there is such a thing. I also have done family portraits and stuff for a few people, friends, but I like to take pictures. And I want to get more into rodeo photography. My nieces and nephews compete in rodeo. I rode horses as a kid and teenager, and I love that world. I was recently spent a week at the Idaho State High School Rodeo Finals supporting my nephew there, and then my nieces competed in a rodeo queen contest in another town. So like that is something that I'd love to develop my photography skills in more. What instrument do you play or want to learn? That's question number 4. I do play the piano a little bit. I was kind of a slacker when it came to practicing as a teenager, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to practice all that much. So I'm not as good as I could have been, and I kind of quit playing after a while. I mean, I don't have a piano, and I haven't been, like, lived in a house with a piano in years and years and years. I really enjoy the playing part, but when I come to playing in front of other people, I panic. My anxiety kicks in, and especially if they're singing while I'm playing, like, I lose it. So it's a good thing that I don't play in public. I do like to sing. That's not really an instrument, I guess, unless you count your voice as an instrument, but I like to sing, and you probably know that because I occasionally burst into song in the middle of my videos. Number 5, favorite season. That is fall or autumn. I love it. That's when Halloween is. It's when my birthday is in October. It's the start of a new school year. It's football season. The air is like crisp. It's not so hot anymore. It's just my favorite. I don't know why, other than the reasons I just listed, but yeah, I really, really love fall. Number 6, favorite authors. This is very difficult. I mean, Harry Potter is such a big part of my identity, and I owe that to J.K. Rowling, whether I agree or don't agree with some of the things that she said recently and, like, been kind of canceled for or whatever. I will love her work always. Jane Austen wrote my favorite book of all time, which is Persuasion. Shakespeare, although he was like a poet and a playwright, I don't know if that qualifies as him as an author. But, like, more contemporary writers, I really enjoy Cassandra Clare, Holly Black, Sanjay Menon, Tiffany D. Jackson, the Lady Janies, which is Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, Jodi Meadows, Trisha Levenseller, Tahira Mafi, Shelby Mahurin, Carrie Maniscalco. I mean, there's a lot. And I just went out of focus. I'm so sorry. I got distracted looking at my books. Number 7, favorite time of the day. I kind of feel like the morning, I wasn't ever a morning person, and I still am really groggy in the mornings and have a hard time getting going, but I feel like in the morning there's all these possibilities for the rest of your day. You can accomplish these many things, or you can create something or read a book, or, you know, whatever. Like, the whole day's laid out in front of you, and when you have a productive start to the day and you hit like that noon time and you're like, gosh, I've already done so much today. Like, I really love that. But then also on the flip side, at the end of the day, looking back and going, wow, I read a lot today, or I had such a nice, calm, peaceful day, or I created something today. Like, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I guess I'd go with the morning because you have all these possibilities in front of you. Question number 8 is favorite musicals. Oh gosh. Seussical the Musical is one of my favorites. It is like an amalgamation of a bunch of different Dr. Seuss characters, and it's really fun. I've been to see it performed live a few times, and some of the songs in there are just really either fun or thoughtful, or like that's the song Salo Salou from that musical is really calming and also peaceful. Of course, I love Hamilton. I haven't seen it performed live ever. I haven't been lucky enough to, like, get a ticket, but I'm hoping that when they come to Salt Lake, anyway. But I've watched the Disney movie recording many times, and listened to the soundtrack a whole bunch. Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera, Thoroughly Modern Millie is really fun, especially the movie version with Julie Andrews and Mary Tyler Moore. Chef's kiss, yes. There's probably, like, some glaringly obvious ones that I am not thinking of right at the moment. Oh, I recently went to see Hello Dolly with a friend of mine. Hi, Linda, if you're watching. That was a really fun one, and it was funny, too. I need to watch the movie version on Disney Plus that has Barbra Streisand. I started it, and then I never did finish it because it was a late night, and, like, I need to finish watching that. Let's move on to another question. Number 9, what are some fun facts about you? Let's see. I've never once played Monopoly by the rules. I played it one time with a kid I was babysitting, but he made up the rules as we went. Those of you who grew up playing board games, you might be like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? For you younger people, a board game is like a phone, like thing you play on your phone, but with actual pieces you physically move with your hands. Let's see. I've written several books. I wrote one for my master's degree in creative writing that I got through the University of Texas at El Paso. And written other ones just because I love to write. None of them have ever been published, but I haven't tried. Some of my family members have read the one that I wrote for my master's degree, and they're very angry with me that I am not working on the sequel. But I'm not going to do it right now, so they can just deal with it. What else? As I mentioned before, I did spend a lot of time with horses as a kid. My family always had horses. We did trail riding, showing horses in 4-H. My siblings did rodeo. I never did get into the rodeo part. I had a horse named Boots that I really loved. She was super organized. She would only poop in one corner of the stall, so it was very easy to clean. She had the most beautiful, long, gorgeous tail. And when we sold her, when I decided I was done with the horse stuff and we sold her, the people that bought her cut her tail off. It made me want to vomit. It still makes me mad to this day. We also had this really awesome horse named Skip that I just really, really loved. And yeah, I could go on and on about the horses in my life. Are there any other fun facts about me? I have broken cartilage in this ear because I fell in the shower and hit my head against the tub and cracked open the cartilage here. And the ER doctor did his best to sew it back together. The anesthesia didn't work, so I felt every stitch, but I can still like feel here that it's uneven, like not completely fused together. There you go. And I guess a last fact about me is I'm a Ravenclaw. Number 10, favorite tropes. Most of my favorite tropes are to do with like the romance tropes, like enemies to lovers, friends to lovers. For some reason, I like both of those. There's something like very satisfying to me when we had the situation of people have been friends for a long time and like friend A has loved friend B from afar for a long time, and then friend B finally catches on, and then they're like, yes, I love you too. I don't know why I like that part so much. Yeah, that's all I can think of for tropes right now. Number 11, if you lived in a fantasy world, what would be your superpower? I've always said invisibility whenever like this question has come up because I'd like to be able to like spy on people and stuff. That sounds super creepy, but I don't think that's actually what I would choose. And I thought of this the other day, weirdly. I was watching a movie with my nephew. We were watching Encanto, and you know the one sister who can just grow flowers and plants and like all different kinds of stuff willingly. I think I'd like that power. Because I don't have the power as a normal human to grow things. I kill every plant that I try to grow. Question number 12 is, do you have shelf control? I think we know the answer to that one. No. I just don't. So here there be stories. When she did this, she's like, yes, I have shelf control, and I am very careful about what books I buy. And I just am like watching her video in awe going, how do you do that? I must learn the ways. Yeah, I have put myself on a book buying ban for a little while. Other than subscription boxes, I don't think I'm going to buy any books in July. I think I'm going to try to not do that, or the rest of June. Keep your fingers crossed for me. So that's it for this tag. I will tag a few people in the description box down below to do this as well, and I hope they join in and participate. It was a fun one to do. Thank you for tagging me, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.